Hey everyone, so what we're going to be doing in this tutorial today is creating a DigitalOcean Cloud function that we can call from a URL. Now, the reason I am doing this actually is because our Stammer customers, we are building a capability for our own AI agents to be able to call a URL, send data to it, and then get a response back. And if you're not familiar with who I am, obviously my name is Timothy Bramlett. I am the co-founder of Stammer AI, as well as a bunch of other products that we've created. You can see some of them actually running behind me right now. Now, Stammer is a platform that allows agencies to white label AI services and offer it to their own clients under their own brand. But this tutorial is going to be generic enough, really, that anyone can use it. So maybe if you're trying to create a DigitalOcean Cloud function, this will help you out. So with that in mind, let's get started. The first step here is to obviously go to the functions area of DigitalOcean. Now, we're going to be doing this entirely from within their user interface. Now, it's lacking in some functionality, but it should be good enough for this tutorial. Unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because these cloud functions, more and more people are getting exposed to programming, and so I like it when you can launch a cloud function completely from within the interface. But for some of the more advanced functionality, you may need to use their CLI tool, which is called .ctl, I believe, and it's very easy to use. I've used it before. So we're going to go to create, and then we're going to do function. So we create a cloud function. We don't care really what data center it's in for this tutorial. You may care depending on where your customers are. So we're going to say create namespace. I'm just going to use the default label here, but you may want to name it something more descriptive. Okay, and they've dropped us kind of into the main dashboard here. I'm going to move this over so it's not interfering. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Yes, we're going to click on create function. Okay, we don't want Node.js. We want Python 3.11. Function name, what did I call it last time? I don't even remember. I don't think it matters because I think it initializes it from main and it just calls the function that we... Anyway, let's just call it calc_profit. Package name, I don't think we have any existing packages we need to define here. Web function, yes, this is important. We do want this. So when enabled, your function can handle HTTP events. Non-web functions can still be invoked via the, So we do want this. That'll save us a bit of time. They have a wrapper, most likely, that they wrote that extracts the JSON from the HTTP post request that we're going to be making, and then it passes it in and calls the function. So let's create that. If you don't know what any of that means, I guess don't worry about it in some ways. You do need some exposure to programming, obviously, in order to kind of do this, but it's not super advanced, to be honest. Okay, so we're in this little dashboard here. This is their default kind of example, and I'm going to go ahead and run this because it's always good to just run something first, right? You want to develop things iteratively. Always iteratively. And what that means is, we deal with this a lot with Stammer customers who are new to prompting and, not a lot of programming background. But what we see often is that they'll write out this really complex prompt, right? And then they'll try to run it. And many things may go wrong. And just like that with programming, you want to start with the bare working example, something works, and then build from there one piece at a time. Okay, so let's run this. I'm just ranting here. It'd be hilarious if this didn't work, huh? Okay, perfect, right? It's returning this output here. Now, what we're going to do, we're actually going to delete all of this. Okay, now I'm going to copy and paste. I cheated a little bit. Did this earlier. Okay, and obviously this could all be one function, but I just wanted to build on top of it very quickly, and this is just an example, so I broke it up into two, which could be the right way to do this, depending on what you're doing. And if you're a Stammer customer, maybe you've had some, person write a function for you from Upwork or something, and so they've literally given you this function. You can paste it in here. You can do this maybe in the same way. What we have here is a calculate profit margin function. Obviously, this is not very advanced, but in essence, this is how you do calculate profit margin, revenue minus cost, right? Usually there's a lot of other variables that go into it. Then we're dividing, profit or sorry, yeah, we're dividing profit by revenue and then multiplying by 100 in order to get a percentage. Now, of course, I understand here, I'm doing these as floats. This is not the proper way to do this, but that's beyond the scope of this tutorial. You'd actually probably want to do something like decimal or integers that you multiply by essentially in order to display dollars, but that's beyond the scope of this tutorial. You can look that up or ask Claude or ChatGPT, or just not worry about it if you really need to build this to use with a customer. Now, okay, this I know I've already tested and it should work. We're going to test this, so we're going to create some test parameters so that when we run this locally, it's going to put these parameters into it's going to call the function with these parameters. So I'm going to click save. We're going to click this, open up the parameters. Actually, first, I'll just copy. Oh, no, I can let's do this. Let me type these in here. Okay, and if you're not familiar with this structure, you will get familiar soon. The JSON is everywhere these days. Even if you're building no code, right? It's JSON structures are everywhere. So we've defined in this JSON a variable called revenue. Well, the key is revenue. And then we're passing in a number of 10,000, right? And then a cost of 5,000. So let's save this and let's test this and see if it works. It should return back to the console here the profit margin of 50, right? 50%. So that is working. Now, let's get this deployed. I believe it honestly should already be deployed. And then let's call it from this API testing tool that we have. And the first thing I'm going to do is copy this. Okay, Command C. Now we need the URL. Here is the URL. Okay, and I don't believe we need to do anything here. We're not triggering this from anything, so should be fine. It is web enabled, so we're good. Okay, now let's go to this online API testing. I've never used this. If this doesn't work, which may happen, I'm going to use a tool called Postman, but this should be simpler for you guys to use. So first things first, let's paste in the URL I just copied. There it is. Now, we don't want to do a GET request. We want to do a POST, okay? A POST allows us to send additional data with it in the body of the request. I don't know what this is, actually. Interesting. Maybe he's got different data centers or something. US, Germany, actually, I don't know. Okay, I think we should get an error. I want to send this first without putting the proper values in here, and let's kind of see what happens. Yeah, okay. Let's move this, actually. We don't need my face in the way. It's interesting. Okay. Oh, the response back from the function. Right. Okay, because we didn't do any error handling. So now let's take what I pasted earlier and put it in there. Okay, so I pasted in the JSON. Let's make this request and let's see if this works. No content. Interesting. Maybe I need to adjust my function to return an HTTP response. I'm just kind of surprised that DigitalOcean is not doing that. Okay, and I did actually figure out the issue here, so who knows, maybe this will help somebody. What you need to actually do is return a dictionary. In order to have it automatically convert your Python dictionary into JSON and return it as the response to the HTTP request, what you have to actually do is return a dictionary with the body, right? The body of the request that you want to send. And inside that, I put this dictionary that I had created before. So returning essentially a dictionary within a dictionary. And as you can see, that worked perfectly. And we're getting back the JSON response that we expect. I'll run it one more time just so you guys can see it live. There you go. It's done. And note, well, I guess you didn't see the original request, but that was much faster this time because it had already been initialized. So that is it. This is how you can actually create a cloud function in DigitalOcean, at least with Python, run it, and hit it up with a URL and get a response. Now, if you are a Stammer customer, what this means is that if you want our AI agents, as soon as we add this functionality to make these requests, like you just saw me making as a human right here, what you can do if you want to do math or, calculate a mortgage payment, a monthly mortgage payment, is you can have a developer actually go through and write a function like this for you. They can even deploy it in DigitalOcean for you, or you could possibly do it with their help. And then we're going to give you a prompt that you can use inside our platform to kind of call and get the response from this. So you can see how powerful this is, because what this allows you to do, right, is to actually create tools that AI agents can then use. And people really need to start thinking of these AI agents, these LLMs. A lot of their capabilities and limitations are actually, ironically, or maybe appropriately, very similar to humans, right? Could you do the math for this completely in your head? I mean, maybe some of you can. I mean, this is not super complex math, but for more complex things, no, you can't do that in your head, right? You need to use a tool. And that's exactly what the LLM needs to do. It needs to use a tool, call a function, call code, a URL in this case, get the actual proper response from its tool, and then it returns it to your customer. Okay, and we are building this live for several customers. Oh no, I don't want to go into their specific use cases, but it's a similar approach, doing math. But you could really do it. You could go beyond math here. I mean, you could, call their APIs and stuff like that. Eventually, we're going to add authentication of some kind. But I need to stop ranting here, or this video will go on for 20 minutes. So if you have any questions about this, if you have any questions about DigitalOcean functions, let me know. Post in the comments. I will try to, shoot you into the right direction here. I'm not an expert on serverless functions, but I am an expert, weirdly, now on DigitalOcean, AWS, so I'll try to point you in the right direction. Or if you're a Stammer customer, feel free to join our Discord if you have any additional questions on this, and we will do our best to help you out. That is stammer.ai/Discord.